evening, everyone. We haven't done a video in what feels like forever. And so, here we are. We wanted to do a little video on skinning. Got this guy today. This is number 20, isn't it? Yay, that was our goal. So now we have to set another goal. Is he? It looks really weird that you're petting a beaver.
That's the spot. Oh, yeah.
So wrong. But, pardon our messy house. The kids got all their toys out and I haven't picked them up again yet.
You want to pet the beaver?
Yeah.
Go to bed. You can pet him tomorrow. You can pet the next one, okay?
Now they're both up. I've been having a hard time getting the kids to bed tonight. Yes, we are skinning the beaver in the house for all of you that are like, are you doing that in the house? Yes, I do let my husband skin things in the house just because he gets sick very easily. And I don't need him getting sick outside from doing him to do it in the cold. Okay, guys, this is... Now go lay down.
Go lay down. Go get into bed. You want to pause it and take her in for a second?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. We had to crying baby and kids up when they're supposed to be laying down. But my husband just made a good point. This isn't just a skinning video. He's going to show you how we process it too, because we do eat the meat off of these, and so it's kind of a useful tip for those of you who are thinking about trying it or whatnot. So, yep. Here we go.
Okay.
Sorry about this moving around a lot.
First off, I'm going to take all 4 feet off, and I'm just going to stop right at the back of the foot that tendon is, and then it opens it up. It's a little loose now. And you take all the way around it, just ring around that foot. I'd already started the other one, that's why it's already done. And then you just twist. Just like that. Simple as that. Back feet, same way. You want to come to this side because it's kind of hard. I'll turn you so you can.
It's easier for me to stay in one spot.
So, I don't know, can you get in there and see that? So, this one's kind of tough because there's really not a... It's not as easy to tell where the back of the foot is. But, right there at the bottom of the pad, you slice that tendon and open it up. Now his toes are loose. Same thing. I'm going to ring around. The back feet are a little different because the joint is a lot lower than it looks. But once you get all the fat and skin cut free, it'll pop out. Should anyways. Yeah. And then just twist. And the joint is actually way down in here. You can kind of, I don't know, you can kind of see where it popped out. Right there. And just set it aside. Do this last one. Twist. A lot of times you can, if you're having a hard time with it, you can take and, I'm not going to try to talk and do this at the same time.
Something's big.
Is get the tip of your knife in there and kind of work a little bit of the cartilage out until that breaks free. Okay. And I like skinning beavers because they come with their own little knife sharpener. That's perfect for touching up. Just kind of knocking the fat off, straighten it up. Next thing we'll do is we'll take his tail off. Right across where the leather, I guess is what they call it, stops. I'm going to go all the way across the bottom. one side, the other side. And a lot of times you can twist the same way you did the beef. Sometimes you have to actually flip the beaver over and do the top, or just bend up and trim across there.
Oh, well, you got some fur on there.
It's fine. It's gonna happen. See the tail? Just a little bit. Okay. Try to get my knife cleaned off a little bit. Alright, now I'm gonna switch knives because next I'm gonna try to straighten him out as best I can, because I'm gonna end up trying to draw a line right down the middle. And there. He's loosened up a little bit. But you can rub all the fur with the grain, like down, and take a finger and draw a line in his fur up to his chin. So you can kind of see what you're cutting and you don't end up with a crooked line, which wouldn't be that big of a deal. You can pull it back out, but I'm going to take and split the bottom lip down to probably where his throat, right in between the front legs. I like to use this knife for that because this one's a lot easier to sharpen than that one is, and force those blades in that one. Switch, and then I'm going to take the tip of this one and go very gently, because the trick is to open it up just skin. There's going to be a thick layer of fat. Not always thick layer. The pups, younger ones, there's not a whole lot of fat there, so you have to be really careful. And just slide. Now about mid-chest, you're not going to have that rib cage to stop you. So from here to here is all gut. And you definitely don't want to make a mess. So what I've learned is stick the tip in just a little bit and kind of pull the skin up, so your blade is not, you've got a little bit of a gap between the blade and the gut. Another easy way to do this is carpet cutter blades. You start up here and you just rip. But you still have to be careful in the gut area, because it will catch and just rip it open. This is why this is the difficult part, is because I try to be careful not to make a mess. I'd rather be a little slow. And another reason you start at the lip is because it keeps a lot of that fur from pulling out. Like you can see some of this fuzz is coming off. You see that? It comes out a lot more if you go against the grain. I don't know why. It just does. Yeah. Oh. Sorry, we had to pause it, put the baby down. So, still being gentle. Now, right here, you're going to feel his hip, his groin area. This is another area you want to start to be careful, because right here, this little piece right here, there is castor glands and oil sacs, and the castor gland is actually the most valuable part on this, and you really don't want to tear them up by slicing too deep.
Now, why are those important?
They're the most valuable because fur buyers buy it, or not necessarily fur buyers. Anybody that really invested in predator control buys these castor glands, because they use a lot of the castor in baits for coyotes. It's a very, I don't want to say stinky, raunchy smell. It's just a very distinct smell. What did you say?
That's all I can say, is very distinct. Like, if you smell it, you know it's a beaver.
Yeah, the smell doesn't go away. It's
Lingering.
Yeah, it's a very distinct lingering smell. And it's not like that it reeks. It's got some hang time. So you want to be really careful. Can you get over here so you can see?
Mm-hmm.
Handy dandy. Knife sharpener. So a lot of times in this area, I try to just slice around the vent, because if I tried to, split it like I done the belly, I end up grabbing it, and if I'm slicing, then I can kind of just a little bit layer at a time until I get to where I can work around it. And you can just kind of take the tip of your knife until you get around it. Alright, so we're all around it now. I've already trimmed up all around it. I'm just going to try to pull it out just a little bit to give me some room. Switch up a little bit. Let's finish splitting it right there. Okay, then we're just going to, I'm going to put pressure on both sides and kind of spread it. And get it split out just a little bit. This is a lot of cartilage. That's why I switch knives, because there's a lot of cartilage in here, a lot of gristle, and it will dull a blade in a hurry. And with this one, I just hit it on that leather tail a few times, and she's back to sharpened. Okay, there we go. Now we can kind of work out one side. Okay, we'll do this one side now while we're here. What's wrong?
Oh, it's still awake.
Okay. Okay. You can kind of start to see where those castor glands are. And oil sacs right here. They're very...
This one actually has a pretty good amount of castor.
not really.
Well, about normal.
Yeah, about normal. A lot of guys, and I think that's why we wanted to do this, was because I've noticed a lot of people just sell these beaver whole carcasses. And that irritates the fire out of me, because you're just throwing away money. I mean, if I took this into the fur buyer, or our fur buyer, and said, I got a beaver for sale, or beaver I need to sell, $5 without even touching it, $5. If you part it out, you will double your money, sometimes triple your money, depending on how much castor is there, because that tail around here would bring $1 by itself. The skull, if its teeth are not broke, would bring $1. An average sized fur, just an average sized adult fur, without any holes in it, you don't want a whole lot of trashy spots in it, would bring $4 or $5. So if that's up to $6 right now, we're already ahead of the game. That's without counting this castor. And I think right now we're getting about $30 to $35 a pound for these castors, and that's not a lot, but it does add up. We've caught a couple that were 6 ounces. We caught one that was a little over half a pound just in castor, and so that was a $15 castor and $4 for the pelt, and then the tail was $1. I think his teeth were messed up or something. But anyways, so you're just throwing away money if you don't take the time. Maybe you just don't want to. Maybe you don't know how. I don't know. But this is the way we're going to do this. So I've got it opened up a little bit. I'm going to switch gears again. This is that Beaver knife blade I was talking about in one of the earlier videos some time ago. The reason I like to use this one is because it doesn't have a point. Ooh, it doesn't have a point. The reason I like it not having a point is because the way you kind of lay flat so they can, you know, obviously the curve of the belly like this, when you're working that way, it's a lot easier to use this and not slice a hole in the hide than it is that point. When you start curving that knife in there, you take, that point is scraping leather. You don't want that. You don't want to score the hide, because then you get dinged for it, because the hide in that spot is going to be a little thinner than any other place. And always try to take a little more meat. What am I trying to say? You would rather have more meat on the hide than hole in the hide. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just in it for the meat, then more power to you, however you get it done. But we're just going to take and roll it back a little bit at a time. Now when you get up here to the rib cage, you want to be very careful not to go too far this way into that armpit. There's a vein right here, and it can get messy.
He knows from experience.
In a hurry. So what I like to do is when I get to the armpit, you will stop peeling belly meat. Can you see that? See how the belly meat stops? Kind of right there where these ribs start. How it's starting to turn to a fat. That's as deep as I'm going to go right there for right now. I'm going to keep going up in the chin area a little bit. There's another vein right in between that front shoulder and the bottom jaw, I guess. So we're going to be really careful right there too. You don't want to cut too deep. That's why I'm grabbing the fur, pulling it towards me, and just trying to a little bit at a time. And beaver have this little turkey neck looking thing. I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to get it curled back a little bit. Just don't let me forget to explain the turkey neck. Okay. And then down the side of the jaw just a little bit. You don't have to do this right now. I do it because it makes it easier. I don't have to keep flipping the beaver back and forth when I start on the back side. Okay, so just kind of pull back a little bit. A little bit at a time. And try to see, there that vein is. See how it fell back into the socket when I cut that fat. So we're good there. Now I can start from that vein and go back. That's another way I like this knife, is because you can reach underneath without poking a hole. So this, I like to take and grab the fur and put my knuckles in it, because I can feel my knuckles on this side with the knife, and I can kind of tell where the fur stops and where, like obviously, see, the fur is straight down, so there's no way that this right here is fur. I'm not going to cut the hide by going right there. I'm going to try to pull it out a little ways. There's another vein I should have mentioned, right here in the groin, or outside of the hip. I guess, can you see that right there where my finger is? That one will make a mess too. So you just try to get up close to it. You don't want to have to really cut it right now. And then I take my other knife, because there's, again, a lot of gristle and cartilage. And try to feel where the edge of the fur is, so you don't accidentally nick a hole. And just try to feel where the muscles are, so you can just work down in that crease. Just like that. Boys are asleep. Okay. So this is where I like to turn him a little bit and throw feet on the floor. and this tail part right here.
Kita, leave it alone.
She's just stretching, Mama.
She
yeah.
ain't just stretching.
Smarty. Okay. I like to get down kind of eye level with the tail because I can see, look right here. You can see the line where the fur is, just right across here. So if I'm cutting up here, I'm not cutting hide. And just try to picture this line like a plane across through there. So you can, does that make sense? Where you can kind of, I don't know, skim, something. You take the legs, you take your knife, and you can go up through that cut you made where you run the foot out. And that makes it easier. So now, I'm going to take, and got my finger in that hole, I'm going to take my thumb and finger and try to pull that bone through. See? So now all the fur is on one side. I can try to trim that. Still being careful, you don't want to get too willy-nilly with this. And try to, there we go. Get it peeled away from that muscle. This spot is a lot easier to do with him on his side. Because then that leg is out of the way. You're not trying to hold the leg and fur. And just... Now, I usually always lose some meat in the back area to the hide, but...
Here comes my Dyson.
Go plug it up. Pause it and plug it up. Okay. Back on?
Yep. I'm going to apologize, guys, because I realized that for a few seconds here and there, I was accidentally kind of like putting the phone down because I was trying to watch what he was doing, and then I forgot that I was holding the phone. So, if you find the phone going kind of funky here and there, it's because of that.
We're back where we were. Again, that vein. Don't want to... Well, you have to cut it, but I like to try to find a narrow spot up here because it's separate from the hide. I don't know if you can kind of see where that pulled.
Yeah.
My fingers underneath it. Find a narrow spot and cut it because it won't bleed as much. It still may bleed. I don't know if you're going to get lucky. It's going to bleed a little bit, but it's not as bad as it would be. And just try to, there we go, roll it back so that vein stays in that fat. And a lot of guys can do this a lot faster, but I really have no reason to be speedy about it. I'm not getting paid per head, so.
Well, we kind of are, but what we catch is what we got, you know.
Right, but I'm not getting paid to skin.
Yeah.
And this reason I'm still on this side is because I found it a lot easier for me to work this tailbone, top of the tailbone and the backbone on its side than it is coming from the back. What I used to do is I lay him down. I'd lay him belly down and peel back and do this. Which, and I still may do a little bit of it, but I started figuring out when I was doing that, I was cutting some of this back strap, and I never could get it to not stay. I never could get it to stay on the carcass and not on the hide. It was hard to find that spot in between the two. So what I figured out is if I go and work it from the side and kind of in front of the hip a little bit, it's a lot easier to keep that meat separated. trying to get him off center, so his weight is pulling against the hide. Getting a little close there. See right there is where I scored the hide. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That line right there? That's not just fat. That's, I don't think they can see the line, but there's a little bit of a score there. Actually, I did that. No, I didn't up here. I just got close. The good thing is we sell these green, frozen, solid. He don't care really how. I mean, he doesn't want one with a bunch of holes in it, but he doesn't care that there's a little score going to be right there, because these are getting sold to the hat industry. These are not even going to go to, the leather is not even going to get used. What they're going to do is they're going to pluck. It's called plucking and shearing. It's where they pluck all these guard hairs out. You can kind of see the difference in the hair. See this all coarse stuff? This is all soft and fluffy, and they'll pull these coarse hairs out and then get down here to this felt fuzz. It's super soft. And then it gets sheared off the leather, thrown into a vat with a bunch of glue and a bunch of other stuff, and it's where cowboy hats come from. I'm going to get him around. Start trying to do this other side. And I'm just grabbing leather and hide and fur, rolling it out, looking for the crease, running my knife down the crease, trying not to cut this, because then we don't want guts spilling out all over the place. Here's a gland. That's alright, it's taking that. That's what a lot of people don't realize is their gamey taste from anything comes from those right there. Glands. If you don't take care of your meat properly, it'll taste like crap. Your meal prep starts in the field. You want a good meal? Take care of it. You want a half-assed edible? Then don't take care of it. I guess. Try to speed this along so we get to the next step. There's that vein. Try to go around it a little bit. There we go. Cut a shallow spot, or thin spot, so it's not gonna make such a mess. Armpit. There it is. Usually there's like a little bit of meat and fat there, and then the rest, the vein will just fall back into the armpit. Like it won't. There's nothing really holding it there. So that's why I pulled up, is because when I just nick that fat, just with the tension of him holding like the carcass between the weight of the carcass and me pulling up, it will keep that vein drawn back into that socket, that armpit, just enough to where I can nick the fat and meat and move on down. Okay. This is a turkey neck I was talking about. It's all fat and crap. Just a big old pile of blubber. Got this side done. Now let me get this leg out. We'll do the front legs. Front legs are a little tricky. Oh, I gotta run the back too. Get ahead of myself. I have a hard time to see. My head's in the light.
Well, get your head out of the light.
Then I can't look at it. Jerk.
Who says you need to watch what you're doing?
Have you been watching? Or you just
I'm watching.
can't see?
Well, everybody knows you're blind.
Obviously, I married you.
Hey. We still gotta pick up the kids' toys.
That's alright. Set him on his side.
Want a cookie? I made cheesecake cookies
You know I
tonight.
can't talk to the people. I must have nicked that thing. Making a mess. But I've got the weight of the beaver pulling against, I don't know. It's not on his side necessarily. He's just kind of pulling against me pulling. And that keeps this hide from flopping over in the way. There we go. There we go. Oh, he's up. Too bad he's up. I'm going to get him turning around so they can see what I'm doing. I'm going to drag him onto the edge
I
of the
hate
table.
the smell of these things.
It doesn't smell.
It does too smell. It's my stick to my stomach.
You're just a big baby.
Ew!
What?
I touched it.
What were you pointing at? What were you going to say?
His hair.
Yeah, but I didn't nick the hide. That's just a saddle. Layer of meat and fat between the carcass and hide. Hanging his head right there at the edge of the table so you can fold the hide back and let it hang.
It kind of pulls itself down, pulls
Kinda.
it taut so you can focus on what you're doing.
Well, exactly. And gets it out of the way. Okay, hopefully we can get by without getting that big. Okay, this right here is where I like to switch knives because now we're going to start getting into gristle again. Get my handy dandy knife sharpener built in thing. Okay, I'm going to sleep. You stick your hand up in there and feel what you're doing so you can tell what's hide and what's not. Okay, so now that I've got to the elbow, there's going to be a little bit of film tissue around it. You can just slice. See how that tissue peels away?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Am I supposed to be answering you? Because every time you ask a question, I'm like, mm-hmm.
At least I know somebody's listening. So, we can see, yeah, I got the knit vein a little bit. That's okay. It's not making too much of a mess.
Not making too a minute. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. You clean it up. I don't.
Just work around. That arm. Same thing with the front legs as we did with the back legs. You can roll it over the bone. And, there. See? Do not cut your fingers. A lot easier to pull. Well, it's not necessarily easier to pull. It's safer to pull than it is trying to cut. Looking back over. Look at Kita. She's just eyeballing this. Look at her. She's just like, what in the world?
It's meat, Daddy.
She wants some. She might a little bit.
I don't know if we were. I know we in a previous video we kind of introduced the dogs to y'all. I don't think we mentioned though that the two of them that look like the one that I just showed you. That's the one I just showed you is Kita. She's a female. There's a male that also looks just like her, and they're wolf dogs. So they get a little excited when Daddy brings a critter inside.
Pull that elbow through. Try to You might have to keep cutting a little bit of film at a time until you can get that foot rolled out, or that bone rolled in, and fur rolled out. Just try to take it slow. I already cut the bone, might as well get after it.
Just cut all of them while you're at it. Nope, don't do that. Don't.
I can.
Don't.
This is not a mess right now. We can make a mess if you want. Pull. It's so hard to get hold
This
of.
looks so nasty on the video.
Does it?
It does.
I don't care. It's not really that bad.
Or as Jeff would like to say, you're leaving 2 pounds of hamburger on that hide.
Shut up. This will end up being a 2-part video
Probably.
because it's not going to get boned tonight. It's going to get put in the icebox and let it drain. I guess technically it's called aging. So, cheekbone. Cheekbone. If I can get it straightened out here. And where's that ear? Ear is actually, there's actually, I don't know if it's bone or cartilage, but there's a sweet spot. And if you don't hit that sweet spot, you're never going to get the ear off. There. I think I got it. Nope. There we go. See? Here. Here. This head over. The other one. There's the ear. There we go. Ear to ear. There we go. Just kind of work up to the tip of the nose. Now, when I get to the eye, I'm going to turn my knife towards the eyeball. That way we can make sure we get those eyelid. We don't cut a wide eye hole. Again, doesn't matter, but
It's kind of good practice for any animal.
yeah, do the best you can with what you got. And if you had a spoon and you were doing this, just do the best you can with what you got.
That would be interesting.
I should try it with a spoon. I said that. Can I skin a beaver with a spoon?
There would be a lot of comments on that video. Like, why did you even try this? Just 'cause. Just curious.
So, since I'm cutting so much bone, or into so much bone right here, this is where my knife really takes a beating. But I would rather deal with a dull knife, having to resharpen it, than to cut a bunch of holes in the hide. And this is another reason I like using this knife instead of that beaver knife or that weeby folding knife. Because this one's so much easier to sharpen. right down to the nose. And when I get down there and feed teeth, she comes off. Just like that. I'm gonna get this out of the way.
Kita, don't even think about it.
Baby.
Oh, that's gross.
Maybe if you pepper towel sign.
Yeah.
A little bit. I didn't need to make that much of a mess. Of course, the one time I do it in front of somebody, it just makes a mess.
Kita, mamas. Oh my lord, it looks like you just murdered somebody.
I wonder how many times somebody's passed our truck and thought, what in the world happened? Because when I'm skinning coons or something, I hang them off the side of the truck, like in the bed, from the railing, from the toolbox, and usually there's a little red streak
Down the side of my truck.
down the side of your truck, like where I picked them up or something, or handprints, bloody handprints. Okay. So the next part is a lot easier to do with the meat still attached. So I'm going to try to trim some of this fat off of its back and get these tenderloins, because trying to clean these up without them attached is very difficult. So we're just going to find the backbone. I'm going to slice down. We'll do both sides, but we're just going to do one right now. And you can kind of, there. So now I'm going to take this fat and just try to, there's going to be a little bit of a meat layer between tenderloin and fat. You don't have to get it off. Shit, you can probably just gut this sucker and throw it on your little barbecue, and should be good to go. But we're not going to do it that way. Let's sit up here so I can. Okay. A lot easier to do with the meat still attached, because then you can put some tension on it and keep it pulled out of the way. I'm just going to come up here and get that out of the way. These are just ribs. There's not very much there. Kind of pull that away. Now we're getting some of this layer sinew out of the way. Alright. There we go. Oh, now we get some. There we go. Okay, there's one side. You can pause the video while I do the other side, because it's going to take me a second. To cut down both sides of the back down. Start trying to fold it back. I'm going to take right here into the shoulder blade and cut down into the rib cage. This is kind of our start of the tenderloin, or back strap, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to try to slide down between meat and backbone a little bit at a time. Kind of fold it back while we're running down the ribs. stop right there. About an inch and a half is where you just start running into rib meat. And it's really not a whole lot there. You gotta be very careful. Always cut a little short right there because that's really thin. I don't want to make a mess again. So, and that's it. There's not a lot of meat, but it's there. You can go ahead and pause it now. I just want to then get back in the legs.
Oh.
Almost forgot to cut the castors out. You get the camera wrong ways.
Oh.
So, you'll feel this little pouch of solid underneath the skin. Just grab right above that, pinch the skin, pull up, and make a little neck. And you'll start to see that little gray sac underneath it. That's castor glands. And those, it's a lot easier to do with rubber gloves because you can get a hold of it and they just roll right out. But we don't have gloves, so we need to get some. If you get to a tight spot, a sticky spot where you can't get a hold of it, you can kind of, just like you're skinning the meat off of the castor glands, be careful not to nick those glands too bad, because if your castor falls out, that's just money you're throwing away. So you can get a hold of them, you just try to pull. Now in the pups, smaller ones, you got to be careful when you're pulling these out because they will tear. You will tear them right in half. And they're still worth something, but they're not worth as much because they're a pain to try to dry like that. So, kind of just roll them out. Is this really 40-something minutes long?
No, this one's just, but yeah, it was 44.
Ooh. My bad, dude. Okay. Got that out of the way. See, there's the castors. There's going to be a little piece right there holding them to the stuff. Kind of trim where the gray stops. There's the castor glands. And then I take them and I fold them to where that cut I just made is on the inside.
So none of that stuff comes
So none
out.
of that stuff comes out. And then just set it aside. It goes in the freezer. So, next, I grab that groin fat. It's hard to do this way. And just try to trim it out just a little bit. And we're almost done. I don't try to peel the fat off these while they're on here too much, because they're a little bit of a size to them that it's a lot easier to do on the table than those back straps are, because the size of the back straps are so small. There's not a lot of weight to them. You can't really, you have to hold them in place. I'm going to trim that groin fat, put him back over on his belly. I'm going to grab his knee, and I'm going to right around that hip. Okay, up here, is my arm in the way?
Not really.
Okay, and then I'm going to go right there and pop that hip joint out. We're making a mess.
James?
I need some more light. I can't see crap. That's not helping.
Well, I thought it would.
Here's 1/4. We'll get the scale out in a second so we can kind of see how much weight we got on this one. Groin fat. Keto wants it so bad, doesn't she?
She's just standing there staring at you.
crinkle. Something.
That's such a nasty smell. No, not nasty smell, but nasty sound. Like, it's just weird. And normally we get about 5 pounds of meat off of these. Sometimes 6 if they're a little bit bigger beavers. Sometimes less if they're a little bit smaller. But generally it's about 5.
The one I done earlier today was 4 pounds, 12 ounces.
So yeah, almost 5.
It's not. It wasn't deboned yet, but a little over 4 pounds. Okay, I'm gonna take the shoulder. These you have to kind of work at getting that collarbone out. Split that. Roll him over. Got the armpit.
Oh.
It's gonna get rinsed off.
You should see how it looks on the video. They're like, come here and look at this.
Oh, that does look bad. I promise it's not as bad as the video makes it look. The red just stands out in the video.
That's why I'm like, because I'm sitting here watching the video, not you. Oh.
One more, and we're done. That looks really bad. I almost don't want to post it. It's like, he is butchering that thing. Yeah, that's what the video was for. We're butchering it. Yeah, that does look really bad. Twist.
Oh, it came out a lot easier.
Cool. Done. Clean up my mess.
Look at this.
I'm sorry. It's not that bad, I promise. Okay, I'm done.
Alrighty.
That's
well, we'll see y'all later.
Next, oh, sorry. Before we stop, these are gonna go in the ice box overnight in a pan, and they're just gonna like drain, let them age a little bit, and then tomorrow we will do another video of the second part.
Okay.
Bye.
Good night.
We forgot to do the weighing, so this is about $30 a pound. We'll say 1.7. That's kind of a small sack, but it's worth a few dollars. So
It's like $2 an ounce.
is it?
2 something, yeah.
So it's not bad. This is not just one beaver. This is one I did earlier too. So this is 2 beaver in here, and we already know that the scale doesn't read as high. So I'm going to set 1/4 out of the one we just did. So 1 hind quarter of the second beaver is not in this bowl, and it is, oh, that's fluid ounces. That's not what we want.
Now you broke it. You froze
I
it.
broke it. £11 and 0.8 ounces. So 1/4 took off almost 2 pounds. 11 pounds. And error. So it's like 13 pounds off of 2 beaver. The first one was 4 pounds, 12 ounces. So what is
9 pounds.
13? 9 pounds. So we got 9 pounds off that last one. Wait, it's not deboned, but
Oh,
that's still.
it's probably like minus 3 or 4 pounds.
I bet we lose. Yeah, I bet we lose 3 pounds, if that, in bone. So it's a pretty good chunk of meat.
Now, when we figure how much we've made off of a beaver, we include the meat price because that's a really, really lean meat. And for some people, yes, and it's an acquired taste. But also,
The water on this table makes it look so much worse.
but so yeah, we kind of priced it out at the price of like lean beef.
$4 a pound.
About $4 a pound, somewhere in there. And guys, if you can get acquired to the taste of it.
It's not that you have to get acquired to the taste of it. A while ago when I was talking about the glands, if you process your meat and you take care of it, and like that whole bucket is going to sit in the ice box and let it clean itself, I guess, kind of drain some of the bloody. It makes a cleaner meat. It also helps that fat dry up a little bit, so it's easier for me to peel the fat off of the meat. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
It just makes it easier to get a hold of the filmy stuff, and then it peels right off. And the back straps, we will probably just freeze them the way they are. But the quarters will get deboned and run through the grinder.
We use a lot of it in hamburger meat, and it's so lean that we have to put some cooking oil in the pan before we cook it, just so it doesn't stick to the pan. But anyways.
These go in a bag, go in the freezer. That goes in the freezer just by itself. This goes in a Walmart sack in the freezer. And there we are, $4 or $5. What would we say? $2?
Yeah.
$3? So $7, $8. Or we could have just sold the whole thing for $5. Plus we have 6 pounds of meat over here at $4 a pound. What we're gonna figure it out is $20. So $27, $28 for that beaver, or we could have sold it for $5.
Yeah.
So take care of your stuff.
Alrighty, we'll talk to y'all later.